Reflecting Christ, the divine call for husbands to love their wives. In the passages of Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25, Ephesians chapter 5, verse 28, and Colossians chapter 3, verse 19, we encounter a profound and recurring divine command for husbands to love their wives. This is not just a gentle reminder, but an urgent call from God, asking men to embrace a love that transcends mere affection. In these scriptures, men are told to love their wives as Christ loves the church, a love that is sacrificial, unwavering, and rooted in grace. The repetition of this command is no accident. It is a compassionate plea from the Creator, urging men to aspire to a higher, selfless form of love, a love that mirrors Christ Himself. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25 offers a glimpse into the kind of love God expects from husbands. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave Himself up for her. This verse reveals the depth of marital love, drawing a direct comparison between a husband's love and Christ's sacrificial love for His people. Christ's love was not given out of duty or obligation, but out of pure, selfless devotion. It is a love that puts the other person first, seeking their well-being above all else. Husbands are invited to this same kind of love, one that is not limited by human flaws or selfish desires, but one that embodies humility, sacrifice, and grace. This divine command calls men to break free from the confines of ordinary affection and step into a Christ-like form of love, one that continually lays itself down for the sake of another. It is a love that challenges men to surrender pride and ego, to become vulnerable and tender in their care for their wives. By doing so, husbands reflect the very heart of Christ, who cherishes His church with a patience and forgiveness that never wavers. But why was this command necessary? Why did God feel the need to repeat it, emphasizing the need for love in the covenant of marriage? In His wisdom, God knows the human heart, particularly the heart of men shaped by the fall. Since the time of Genesis 3, the human relationship with love has been marred by selfishness, pride, and imbalance. While men are fully capable of love, they can sometimes struggle with emotional distance or self-reliance, traits that, if left unchecked, can weaken the bonds of marriage. God's repeated command to love serves as a gentle but firm reminder that love within marriage is not something that happens automatically. It is a choice, an ongoing commitment to put another person's needs above one's own. The divine call for men to love their wives is about far more than feelings. It is a directive to continually serve, honor, and uplift their spouse, aligning their hearts with God's own self-giving nature. It is a love that mirrors the eternal love God has for His people, a love that is patient, kind, and unfailing. Ephesians 5:28 further emphasizes this call, urging husbands to love their wives as their own bodies. This instruction deepens the connection, reminding men that in marriage the two become one. By nurturing their wives, men nurture themselves. When a husband protects, cherishes, and honors his wife, he safeguards not just her well-being, but also his own spiritual health. This intimate connection reveals the depth of the marital bond, making it clear that neglect or mistreatment of one's wife is, in essence, a form of self-harm. Colossians 3:19 adds another important layer, warning husbands not to become bitter toward their wives. Bitterness, often born from frustration, misunderstanding, or unfulfilled expectations, can quietly erode love from within. In His infinite wisdom, God understands that relationships will face challenges and difficulties. Yet, His call to love remains even when emotions run thin or conflicts arise. Husbands are reminded that love is not dependent on circumstances, but is a steadfast commitment to care for their wives with grace, even in difficult times. Ultimately, the divine command for men to love their wives is about more than just preserving a marriage. It is about reflecting the divine love of God Himself, Marriage is a sacred reflection of God's covenant with humanity, and when a husband loves his wife as Christ loves the church, he reveals the mystery of God's love to the world. It is not a love rooted in control, domination, or power, but a love marked by humility, sacrifice, and unwavering dedication. God's command for men to love their wives as Christ loves the church is a reminder that love is the foundation of his kingdom. Through their love, men fulfill their vows and participate in the redemptive love of God, becoming vessels of grace and peace within their marriages. This love is a daily choice, one that reflects the eternal and unbreakable love that God offers his people. In the end, love in its truest form is the bridge between humanity and God. When men learn to love their wives with the depth and sacrifice of Christ, they strengthen not only their marriages but their own spiritual lives, drawing closer to God with every act of love. Far from implying any deficiency in men, this command invites them to embrace the fullness of their ability to love. It calls them to be mindful, intentional, and sacrificial in their relationships, reminding them that true love is more than just emotion. It is a reflection of God's heart, lived out in daily acts of devotion and care.